Hello everyone. It's a beautiful day here at the BYU Family History Library, and we'll be talking about land ownership maps today. Perhaps one of the most overlooked aspects of family history is to take the time to understand what role place had in your ancestors' life. Did they live in the arid desert or uncleared land of the Appalachians? Did they live on the rocky coast and rely on fishing for their income? Or did they migrate west into the great broad plains of the Midwest? Did they live in the crowded urban cities? Understanding what type of place your ancestor lived in helps you better understand the push and pull of immigration and migration. It gives you an understanding of the neighbors who helped each other, the neighbors who dated each other, and neighbors who celebrated with each other. Maps can help us understand the places our ancestors lived in and the people they lived with. We've heard the expression, follow the money. In genealogical research, we could say, follow the land. Land was often passed from one family member to another. Close associates witness the transfer of deeds, and it can help us track the migration pattern of our ancestors. Land ownership maps are a unique tool that can help in our research. Before we begin, let's start by defining some terms that you may come across while researching land ownership maps. Cadastral maps are maps showing or recording property boundaries, subdivision lines, buildings, and related details. You may find maps of the area where your ancestor lived without the landowner's name. These are still useful in identifying churches, schools, and industry that could aid in your research. A deed may help you identify which parcel your ancestor lived on. A plat map is a document drawn to scale, showing the divisions of a piece of land. It gives the legal descriptions of pieces of real property by lot, street, and block number. Subdivision maps and other maps for city planning can help you understand the development and division of an ancestral piece of ground, helping you trace the ownership. Survey maps examine and record the area and features of land so as to construct a map, plan, or description. Often a survey map details one piece of land at a time. Surveys were often included on deeds in the eastern United States where metes and bounds survey systems were used. These can be especially helpful if they list the neighboring property owners. Another type of survey map were the original surveys of the United States public land states. If your ancestor was an especially early settler, they may be listed on these original surveys. These maps may even give you some genealogical information. This particular map lists a piece of property belonging to John Trader and other heirs of Moses Trader. Parcel mapping, property mapping, or tax mapping are maps created using information filed in the town or county clerk's office based on deeds and surveys. These often show the current landowner as well as current land use and zoning boundaries. If you continue to zoom on a parcel map like this one from Utah County, Utah, the current owners' names will be listed along with plat drawings of the subdivisions and other tax-related documents. These may be helpful in your research, especially when researching an older home or piece of ground that's been in the family for many years. The current owners may have information regarding your ancestor. Land ownership maps were originally produced as large wall maps for use in local courthouses. With the rise in literacy and economic stability, luxury items like maps became more available. However, most people did not have the wall space for large maps, and publishers began to develop city and county atlases that could be stored on a bookshelf. Beginning in the 1860s, publishers developed cadastral maps that included the names of landowners, as well as town and citizen biographies, drawings of local farms and important buildings, and even portraits of important citizens. Google is going to be your best friend in this search for land ownership maps. Try Googling the city, township, and the county you're looking for, followed by the terms that we've identified. Land ownership, cadastral, parcel, plat, atlas, survey, and even just add the word map after each one. The United States Library of Congress holds more than 1,800 land ownership atlases and even more single sheet and large wall maps containing land ownership information. It's important to remember that not every county had an atlas or land ownership map published. Most land ownership maps include the number of acres owned, rivers, railroads, roads, schools, churches, and sometimes businesses or industries. Not every atlas listed on the Library of Congress has been digitized, but those that are digitized are available for download. Another great free resource is the David Rumsey Map Collection. It's an excellent place to look for maps from your area. This land ownership map from Jersey City was published in 1873. The Dave Rumsey website has an awesome feature. Notice this tab, View in Georeferencer. Georeferencing is basically making an old map fit with a modern map. You can see how this historical map is overlaid with a modern map. The tools on David Rumsey allow you to fade in and out to see exactly where a piece of property was. It's important to note that the older the map is, the more likely it is to look skewed or stretched, but it still gives you a great idea of where things were. The Iowa County Historical Atlas Collection has almost every one of Iowa's 99 counties represented digitally on their website. Not only can land ownership maps help you locate neighbors and associates of your ancestor, they can help identify churches and schools in the area, all venues of research that can be helpful in exploring your ancestors' life. The Kansas Memory Project has a large selection of these land ownership maps and atlases digitally available. Maps on these websites are rarely indexed, and it may take some browsing to locate your ancestor. One thing that can help is the title of the township and the land description. If you have a census record with the township name or a deed with the land description, using these can help narrow down your search. Googling can give you some great resources, just like we said before. And although this website is a digital project, they haven't quite got things digitized beyond the title pages. But still, I know now that the atlas exists, and I can look for it elsewhere. Using WorldCat, I can find what other libraries near me have a physical copy of the atlas or the land ownership map. Some may even interlibrary loan the atlas to my local library, or I may be able to find a local librarian to look at it for me. Land ownership maps exist for locations outside the United States as well. This website has some very unique and very old land ownership maps for Ireland. Even if your ancestor was not a landowner, finding land ownership maps like these may provide insights into your ancestors' lives. They may even help you distinguish between two individuals of the same name by seeing how far apart the two lived, by which churches they patronized, or who they worked for. Many universities are beginning to digitize their collections and can be great resources. I promise you, finding land ownership maps can become absolutely addicting. They can provide a very unique and visual part of our research. Thank you all for joining us today. Don't forget to visit our homepage at sites.lib.byu.edu/familyhistory for more information about our Sunday classes, one-on-one help, short YouTube videos, and in-depth webinars. Have a beautiful day, everyone.